Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. Much like last time, we're starting with some level ups, so let's see what we're leveling up. It's one ability for us, so it might be ability for everyone, which would be cool. So this one is we get to choose a stratagem. Now this is interesting for us because we get a free stratagem that isn't a stratagem we already have, I believe. Let me double check that actually. Where is it? It's improved strategy. Gains one random unknown stratagem and can use it till the end of combat for 0 AP. This gives us a very interesting situation here, because although we can take a stratagem that's really good, right? If like all 5 of them are good, right? The remaining one, let me just have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, for all 5 remaining ones, I think I've done it wrong. If 4 out of 5 of the remaining ones are good, we would actually be better off taking the worst stratagem available, because improved strategy would give us a really good one that we can use every single turn for 0 AP. This, I think, is really quite an interesting idea. Like, for instance, I think that Blitz stratagem is not that good, right? I think that I hate it when I see it as our improved stratagem. But if we took it, are the other ones good? I think Kill Zone is really good. For 1 round, all enemies in the area are forced to reroll successful dodge and parry tests, and any enemies that suffer damage and are left with less than a percentage of that, it's like 2 times our int bonus plus fel bonus. So fel is 4, int is 6, so 10 is any unit with less than 20 wounds dies immediately. And that's really, really good. Stronghold. Choose 1 combat tactics area. For 1 round, allies in that area gain 3 plus Grand Strategist int plus fel bonus, which is, again, 10. So 13 divided by 2, which is 6 in this world, because you round down. Percent armor. Cannot be overpenetrated. Gain immunity to the prone effect and gain 10 divided by 4, which is 2 in this world. Deflection against area attacks. Additionally, do not suffer injuries for receiving damage. That's, again, really quite cool. Combat Locust stratagem. Choose 1 combat tactics area. For 1 round, the targeted area's bonuses are doubled. We had that last time. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I can definitely see the benefit. And then the Grand Strategist chooses 1 of the combat tactics areas. For 1 round, all allies in that area gain 5 plus 10, so 15% cover efficiency and reroll all failed characteristic tests. Additionally, cover in that area does not suffer any damage. Okay. Hear me out. I'm having a look at our... Let me have a look at our archetypes here. How many of these do we get? So that's ability. So we get 2 more abilities. I think we should take, and this makes no sense if we're taking good ones, we should take Blitz stratagem and Combat Locust stratagem as our 2 abilities. Now, is that cutting off our nose to spite our face? Is that like saying, should we in fact just take the good one because it's good and not worry about the fact that we can get a bad one for free? I don't know. I mean, like, Killzone stratagem is so good. It kind of makes sense to just have it all the time. Maybe we take Combat Locust and Killzone. Yeah, maybe that's a good... Maybe those are good ones for us to have. I think that would end up quite good for us, because then in our roles, we would end up with Stronghold, Blitz, or Trench Line. I think that could be good. I guess the other thing is there anything that we would not want to spend AP on, but would use for 0 AP? I guess that's the other question, right? Like, Killzone is probably worth using AP on every single turn. Do I think Stronghold is? Not necessarily. I think Stronghold is good, but would I spend an AP every turn to use Stronghold? I don't know. I don't know, maybe I should just take Stronghold because it's good. I'm starting to convince myself that maybe I should just take the good one and stop trying to optimize so that we get a 0 AP thing on like a random roll. Yeah, I should just take the good one. That's what we should do. Yes, okay, never mind. I've changed my mind. Like, yes, there is an interesting strategy where you could end up like guaranteeing almost like you're going to get something from this pool of good strategies, or you could just have the pool of good strategies available to you all the time. Yeah, okay. I think I convinced myself. Here we get an ability and a skill. Alright, what are we getting? So Vanguard gains 10 plus 2 times the number of unyielding beacon stacks, so that can be a max of 15, so that's 10 plus 30, so 40% parry until their next turn. Whenever the Vanguard parries an enemy attack, they immediately make an attack of opportunity with minus 20 penalty to weapon skill against that enemy. I'm not that a fan of that. I can see how that would be useful, but it's 2 AP, and I don't think he needs it. Wall of Rockcrete. The Vanguard and all their allies in a 3-cell radius around them gain 3 plus number of unyielding beacon stacks, max 15, temporary wounds. All affected allies gain minus 50% less damage from the next attack. Again, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that because it's 2 AP. Provocation. The Vanguard forces an enemy in their melee range to immediately attack the Vanguard. All of the Vanguard's allies who are wielding melee weapons and adjacent to the enemy make an attack of opportunity against the enemy. The enemy suffers fell bonus more damage from these attacks of opportunity. It's not for us. We're not a fell bonus kind of guy. This one, I also saw the word fell. Yep. Choose an ally. All enemies in 3-cell radius around this ally must make a willpower resistance test with 5 times fell bonus penalty. On a failed test, the Vanguard becomes their priority target. Okay. All my leaders also fell. Until the start of their next turn, the Vanguard gains % damage and % armor pen against enemies in a 2-cell radius around the Vanguard. Additionally, when the ability is cast, all allies in a 2-cell radius get following ability until the start of Vanguard's next turn. They can move to any cell adjacent to the Vanguard without provoking an attack of opportunity. Okay. So I said Wall of Rockcrete and Defensive Stance weren't very good for us because they're 2 AP. Here's the alternative one. That's a fell bonus thing, that's a fell bonus thing, that's a fell bonus thing. His fellowship is garbage. So, these are better just because they don't use that. I guess I will take Defensive Stance. Maybe it could be useful against a really strong enemy. Like, we take that so that we can guaranteed have a parry. I think that could work, potentially. I don't see us using it very often, but I can see a use case for it. Right, and then we take a skill, we take Carouse. Why? Because it's the only thing he does. So, we might as well take it. And he's always going to be best because he scales off of toughness and nobody else is stacking toughness. Right. Pascal, you get a skill and an ability. Skill, tech use probably. That would make sense to me. Yup, I choose tech use. And then we get one of these. Okay, so what have we got? So Killing Edge is what we took on Heinrich. And this is, you make yourself less likely to hit, but it deals additional damage. Potentially okay. So it's lethality damage. Lethality is the equivalent to dodge or dodge reduction, whichever is higher. So for us, it's going to be dodge right now at 41. So it'd be 41 divided by 7 rounded down. Okay, so 42 would be 6, so rounded down must be 5. That's fine. Damage. If the attack hits an opening. So you get they get 40% dodge, we get 5 damage. So that is 5 damage. Okay. Fainting attack. The assassin's next single target attack will have minus 50% armor penetration penalty with a minimum of 0 armor penetration and plus 10 lethality. If it's a melee attack, the target rotates 180 degrees. The enemy's dodge and parry against the assassin's attack is equal to 0 until the start of this enemy's turn. Okay. If it's a ranged attack, its target is forced to move to the cell closest, or move to the closest cell in a 3-cell range with no adjacent cover facing towards the assassin. This movement provokes an attack of opportunity. That's potentially useful, actually, because he can attack twice in a turn. So you do ranged attack, move him close, hit him in the face. I could see that being useful. That's got potential. Poised to strike. The assassin makes the enemy suffer an agility bonus thing for an agility bonus thing. Okay. Makes the enemy suffer 2 times the agility bonus, so that's 6% armor, and 6 deflection until the end of the assassin's turn. Minus deflection, yeah. -6 deflection. -1, so -7 deflection until the end of the assassin's turn. If there's only one enemy adjacent to them, the assassin also gains 2 times the assassin's agi bonus dodge, so 6% dodge. If there are no enemies adjacent to the assassin, they gain 2 times the... so that'd be 2 times 6, so 12% dodge reduction until their next turn. I'm not a huge fan. Elusive Shadow. For 1 round, the assassin becomes the lowest priority target for enemy attacks against the elusive effect. So we can move through enemies. The assassin gains agi % dodge and agi and perception % dodge reduction, so almost nothing. Deal 10% additional damage. All half cover provides the assassin 50% cover efficiency. Elusive fades when the assassin attacks. Okay. And then Death Whisper. The assassin makes an attack that does not count towards the limit of attacks per turn, does not block the assassin's movement, but only deals 25% base damage. If the attack is successful, the target suffers the hemorrhage effect. At the beginning of each of the target's turn, they will suffer lethality divided by 10 rending damage that ignores armor and deflection. So 4 rending damage that ignores armor and deflection. It's not terrible because it is an extra attack for 0 AP. Right? I think an extra attack for 0 AP is kind of cool. However, it only does 4 damage, which is not huge. Yeah. Like, let's say an enemy lives for 3 turns, you're doing 12 damage. That's not exciting. I think fainting attacks actually sounds kind of interesting. I think being able to shoot an enemy out of cover towards you and then hitting it sounds like an interesting idea. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Cassia. 1 available ability. Now, she has a ton of available abilities. Now, it has been suggested that we take a look at the Navigator abilities. So we probably will, but I want to just have a look through everything, because I feel like we have not quite got to the point where we know what we're doing with her. I mean, obviously each of her turns is really easy right now. To be honest, if I could get a 1 AP Navigator ability, that would almost be perfect, but we'll see. The target ally or the Master Tactician gains 1 resolve for every 5 stacks of tactical advantage the Master Tactician has. Don't think we need that. Target gains 2 temporary wounds and 1 additional temporary wound for every 2 stacks of tactical advantage the Master Tactician has. Whenever the target loses temporary wounds from damage, the target gains momentum equal to the number of temporary wounds lost. That's also kind of interesting. I think that one's kind of more interesting. Master Tactician marks an enemy. If the enemy is killed by one of the Master Tactician's allies before the Master Tactician's next turn, that ally gains 10 times the ally's resolve momentum and +5 to all characteristics. That's also kind of interesting. Fervor. The Master Tactician suffers direct damage equal to 20% of their maximum wounds, gains the Master Tactician's resolve stacks of tactical advantage, and resets the the cooldown of Linchpin, Inspire, and Stronghold. So I guess it's so you can do it twice in a turn. Until the end of the Master Tactician's turn, these abilities can only target the Master Tactician themselves. So yes, it does allow you to use them multiple times per turn, but it has to be used on you. So yeah, I'm not sure I like that one. And we already know what Finish the Job is because we've seen it. That's the one that Jay has. So, Mend Reality is 2. So first of all, it gives us Veil Degradation. It allows us to lower Veil Degradation. The second thing that allows us to do is give allies a deflection against warp damage and damage from the psychic powers until the Navigator's next turn. I don't know if that's actually a problem right now. It doesn't really seem like a major issue for us, so I think I'm going to leave that for now. I can see how it would be useful, but we're not coming up against that kind of damage type, so the only thing that we're really dealing with is the Veil Degradation, which I'm not hugely worried about it. Reveal the Light. The target ally gains 4 times the Navigator's willpower bonus to their willpower and toughness until the end of the combat. Okay. So 4 times willpower bonus is gonna be 24. 24 to willpower and toughness. That's good. Do we have something that raises, or something that works with Navigator powers, by the way? I remember something. I just want to have a look at this and just see what we took. Okay. That's fine. Makes all resistance tests with willpower. Just seeing what we actually have here. Lasting impression is the voice of command stuff. Glimpse of fate we already know about. Navigator's perception is higher than agility. Dodge is calculated with perception. That's fine. Allies under the effect of the officer's abilities gain extra stuff. That's fine. Yeah, neither of these are things we need to worry about. Navigator gains +5 to fellowship and an additional +1 to fellowship for every navigator talent or navigator power taken. So it's going to give us 1 to fellowship if we take a navigator thing. It's okay. Every enemy that a navigator has in line of sight takes a negative. That's okay. Just seeing what other stuff. That's officer's abilities, which I assume means an officer ability. Yeah, heal at the beginning of each turn. That's fine. Okay, so nothing in there. So we're not getting any... Yeah, so we're not actually getting anything that scales off of, like, having a navigator power on someone right now. Is there a talent that we could take that would do that? Like, if this person has a navigator power on them, they gain this thing. Or for each person with a navigator power, you know, you gain this thing. So that one, obviously, you gain perception. If you use a navigator power that hasn't been used. Enemies damaged suffer additional warp damage. Gain additional action points. We already have that one, I think. Okay. That's fine. Mind over matter makes all resistance tests with willpower we already have. Enemies affected by navigator's power. Perception is higher than agility. Dodge is calculated using perception. I think we already have that one. Whenever navigator uses navigator ability, veil degradation is reduced by 1. Potentially useful. Heal 6 wounds we already have. Enemies affected by... Yep, so we got a lot of enemies affected by. Let's see if we have anything that's useful. Yes, enemy... Well, not useful, but like useful for allies. There we go. Allies targeted by the navigator's abilities gain +5 to all resistance tests against warp effects. Okay, until the end of combat. Okay, that one's cool. Under my protection is cool. That one I think we already have. Allies that are targeted by the navigator's power gain 10% armor. This additional armor is reduced by the amount of veil degradation. Oh, interesting. Allows you to have extra movement on, on extra turns. Interesting. The first ally targeted each turn by a navigator with a single target ability gains the same amount of additional movement points, so it'll be 3. That's cool. Okay. Let's go back in here. So, currently we don't have a benefit to doing that, but there are some stuff that we could apply. I mean, a benefit beyond just giving, like, a pile of toughness to an ally. A pile of toughness and willpower. Show the path. This ability can only target allies that have at least one melee weapon in one of their weapon sets. The target immediately gains one additional turn in which they gain the ability to use charge and only this ability. Interesting. Vigil beyond time. The first use on any target marks it with the under the navigator's watch effect. The enemy targets must pass a willpower resistance test to avoid this. The second use returns the target to the position where they were during the first use and restores the wounds to the state they were during that time. If this cell is occupied or unreachable from their current position, they move to the closest cell in the direction of the navigator. That's definitely interesting. A navigator deals some damage to an enemy. The enemy must pass a willpower resistance test or become immobilized until the start of the navigator's next turn. That's cool. I think that could be good, doing something like that. Immolate the soul. Deals damage to all targets in a line, deals soul burn. Target suffers some damage at the start of their turn. At the end of their turn, they must pass a willpower resistance test to remove the flames. When burning, Psycher suffer additional damage each time they use psychic powers, and demons each time they attack or use psychic powers. Scourge of the Red Tide. Creates a 3x3 zone. Every creature that is in it enters it or begins their turn. The area suffers some damage to some damage. Zone remains for 3 rounds. Okay. All enemies in a 4-cell radius suffer 10 plus 2 times Navigator's willpower bonus. So that's going to be 22 penalty to willpower and toughness. And then we could curse an enemy. All incoming warp damage is increased to them. Okay. Not to purpose. We designate a square. The enemy closest to that square immediately moves 4 cells toward it. And multiple enemies at the same distance, all of them move. The targets move even if they're stunned or immobilized. All enemies in a 6-cell radius around a target point must pass a willpower resistance test or immediately move 3 cells towards that point. It's the same thing, just larger. It's a circle of a 3-cell radius. Any creature that is inside it, enters it, or ends turn inside, not under the effect of apathy, makes willpower resistance test. Failure applies the apathy effect. Target is immobilized after 1 round passes under the effect of apathy. Target must make a willpower resistance test. Success removes apathy. Failure stuns the creature for 1 round, removes apathy, and makes the creature immune to further effects from spots of apathy until the end of combat. Okay, interesting. All units in a 3x3 zone must pass a willpower resistance test or immediately move out of the zone, even if they are stunned or immobilized. This movement triggers attacks of opportunity. Touch of Anger. All enemies in a 1-cell radius around target point must pass a willpower resistance test. Those who fail, even if they are stunned or immobilized, immediately gain an extra turn where they attack their allies. Every time an enemy becomes a target of this Navigator power again, during the same combat, they gain a stackable plus 20 bonus to willpower resistance tests against it. Okay. You know, I like Reveal the Light. I know it's not incredible right now, but I think we can do stuff with it, and I think we can. That's a nice 1 AP buff that we can apply every single turn. I think I like that, and that then opens the ability. Actually, it doesn't. I thought that opened the ability for us to get Mend Reality, but it does not. I actually think this is pretty good. With Glimpse of Fate and Reveal the Light, we have a lot of like little buffs that we can apply to allies, and I think that's the role I want Cassia to fill. Mostly is like buffing up everybody as much as she can. I think we could build her damage-wise, and it might be optimal to do that, but I like the little niche that she's got on her team. She provides us something very unique, so I like that. As in, she's differentiated from everyone else on the team. So, cool. I mean, even though she's similar to Jay currently, Jay is definitely going to be more of a self-buffing person eventually. At least that's my idea, so we'll see. Roulette. Available abilities. Well, she crits all the time is the new thing we've learned from her. What are we taking with this? We can do Claim the Bounty, so she gets an extra attack a turn. I mean, that is nice. Yeah, I think Claim the Bounty is obviously nice. It's Ballistic Skill Perception, which is the 2 that she has. Honestly, I think this is fine. So this is 12 times by 4. So this does 48% of usual damage. So it does about half it would usually do. Okay. I think that's fine. And she can potentially get more AP from it. Next attack during this turn will have 100% over penetration and armor penetration. The next attack that hits a target marked as prey is always a critical hit. She's already critting. Until the Bounty Hunter's next turn, whenever an ally attacks a target marked as prey, this attack deals Bounty Hunter's perception bonus, additional damage, and gains half of the Bounty Hunter's current bonuses to critical hit chance and critical damage granted by Hunt Down the Prey. I don't think we need that. Hot on the Trail. Yeah, this is the trailed one. I don't think we need any of this or Ensnare. Honestly, we already have it on Idira. I think Claim the Bounty is just straight up the best thing that we could take right now. It does half of her usual damage and gives her an extra attack a turn. I don't think we can beat that, especially as she's critting most of the time, so it's actually going to deal more, gives her more AP. I think this is just, it makes sense. And then Heinrichs. Let's start with one of these. What are we going to give you? I mean, we're probably going to give you like... Oh, is he currently injured? He is. Okay. That's fine. He's got -20 on some things. We're going to give him athletics because that's what he's good at. Yeah. Okay. And then we get one of these. So we have all the ones that we just looked at on Pascal, of which there are many. I actually feel, although his dodge is much higher, which means that this rending damage is actually 8 per turn, which is much more reasonable. I feel like we do want to have a look at his psychic abilities, because I feel like something in here's got to be good, right? Let's go from the bottom up. Until the end of combat, the target ally increases their MP by 5, their agility by 5, and their AP by 1. That's cool. And it's just a buff that we can just keep applying. I think that increasing someone's AP by 1, depending on the person, it could be incredible, right? Like, that's something that a Pascal or a Abelard would really appreciate. Till the end of combat, the target recovers 2 plus willpower bonus, which is 5, so that's 7 divided by 2, which is 3. Wounds at the beginning of each of their turns removes 1 toxin, stunned, immobilized, bleeding, blinded, staggered, or fatigued. If the target has several effects, the removed effect is selected randomly. I mean, that's cool. Just does straight up apply this at the start. The healing's not really important, but they're removing one of those effects. Like, if it removed stunned, that could completely change a fight, right? Like, enemy stuns you, they've got regeneration on, they immediately remove stunned. That's fantastic. Okay. I think these both have potential. These require warp speed or regeneration. Okay. The target ally immediately gains an extra turn with twice the number of a normal MP and Psycher's psi rating AP, so 2. But their organism is subjected to severe stress, making them suffer 5% maximum wounds damage at the end of each turn until the end of combat. Oh wow, every action the target makes during this turn will also trigger this damage. That's a, like, there's a roll the dice, we're ending the combat this turn kind of thing. Okay. I already have Invigorate. Alright. Enfeeble. Until the end of combat, all targets within the area suffer minus 11 penalty to strength and agility, and a plus 7% increase to all incoming damage. Potentially good. I mean, that's fine. There's no roll or anything, which is always nice. It's just straight up, it does this. I already have that one. We don't have any pyromancy yet. We don't have any telepathy. Divination, we don't have. So I'm just trying to see what we're missing. Okay, Light of the Emperor for this one. Okay, or Hammer of the Emperor. So these lead into this line. So we already have that one. So it leads into... Yeah, so these two lead into that line. So, all allies affected by Word of the Emperor are healed. So from 3 plus, like, let's say 3. So let's say 6 to... yeah, 6 to 16 wounds. Oh, that's it. Okay. It's a heal. Okay. Hammer of the Emperor. All allies affected by Word of the Emperor gain Hammer of the Emperor effect. Next time they deal damage, this damage is increased by 5 times the psi rating, which is 2, so 10, plus the ally's resolve. So we're talking like an average of 3, so we're talking like 13, and the effect is removed. The psychic power can only be used while there is at least one ally affected by Word of the Emperor. Yeah, that makes sense. So they would deal an additional 13 damage. So if we applied this each turn, we effectively increased all damage by 13. That's cool. Keep heading up. What's Purge Soul? Deals from 1 plus the Psycher psi rating plus 1. So 4 times resolve, which we were saying was 3 is our guess, divided by 4. So like from 3 to 4 plus 3, 7 times resolve, which we were saying was 3, so we go up to 21, 5. So it does deals 5 to 3 direct damage, roughly. Okay. This damage, I'm just double checking, I didn't do that wrong, right? No, I was checking brackets and where they were in my head, but I think, no, I think I'm... Oh, wait, is that 4 separate? I'm trying to figure... Oh, right. Oh, where are we? Trying to figure out where this goes. So this one, I think, is there. No, so this is all... Yes, this is all 1. That's fine. Direct damage. This damage is increased by 50% against Xenos, by 100% against Chaos Worshippers or Drukhari, by 100% against Demons, by 50% if the enemy has already damaged the Psycher or any of the Psycher's allies this combat. Okay. Does not affect targets that lack souls. I think Hammer of the Emperor is also pretty good. I think Hammer of the Emperor is immediately usable. It's 1 AP, so it's the kind of thing that we can throw into a combo, right? We can do a couple of things, throw in a Hammer of the Emperor, and it's going to be scaling up throughout the game because it's multiplying by the Psi rating. So when our Psi rating goes up, we get an extra +5 there. It goes up with Resolve, which will be go up with Voice of... I think Resolve will go up with... Voice of the Emperor. I might be wrong. But yeah, it can go up. I think this is good. I think this makes sense. Okay. Cool. I want to now double check Voice of the Emperor. Just for a second here. Where are we? Oh, sorry. Voice of Command. Why am I calling it Voice of the Emperor? Gain 19 to characteristics. What is Resolve based on? I don't know. I don't know what Resolve is based. I think it's just a stat. I said our average was 3. Actually, our average is a little bit higher. His is just really low. Yeah, I think our average maybe is like 4. Or 5 even. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. Spent a long time leveling up, but I'd rather spend a long time leveling up than not enough time leveling up. And it's good to make sure that we actually choose things that make sense for us. Now, you might have thought leveling up, we were kind of done with it. Here's the thing. We're not. We're actually, like, we've only just started. We still have another 3 characters to go, and they have 2 levels. I know, there's a lot of leveling up. But it has to be done. Because if we don't do it, then, well, we can't really progress. So, yeah, we should do it. Right. Let's, see who we want to level up next. Let's maybe go with Jay. Yeah. So Jay has 2 levels. Available characteristics for Jay. She can't get any extra fellowship. Ballistic skill would make a lot of sense for her. Does she have anything else that we think makes sense? Not really. I'll take ballistic skill. Cool. And then we get these things. I do like that one. All Master Tactician's abilities get 7 more. We gain additional stacks of tactical advantage equal to the number of enemies. It gets you started very early. Yeah, whenever they use a heroic act in combat, she gets an extra turn. I'm just out seeing what we got here. Press the advantage, ignores cover and dodge. We heal allies based upon when we get tactical advantage. So I think we get tactical advantage each time they would gain resolve. So effectively this is heal allies 1 wound for each resolve that they, or for each time they gain momentum, which is based off resolve. Whenever we spend tactical advantage stacks on abilities, the critical damage dealt by the Master Tactician increases by 1%. For every stack until the end of the turn. Potentially good. Yeah, I would like that. That seems kind of cool. Anything else? No, there was nothing else that really jumped out at us at the time. Okay. Well, I think for me, I quite like either hidden advantage or against all odds. So I guess what we're asking ourselves here is, are we going to be fighting more than 7 enemies? Because that's effectively how it's going to work for us, right? Well, not quite. Like for turn 1 maybe, but actually for future turns, Yeah, for future turns it's going to be different. Because this, let's see, how many enemies we're going to fight. Let's say we fight 10 enemies in a fight. That means we get 10 to start with. Which when we use an ability, it gets halved. So that would put it down to 5. Yeah, no, I think this is going to outpace. I think this is just going to be better. Because it starts you higher. Which then means that it doesn't matter if it's 7 or more. Because when you're starting higher and then reducing, you're still going to end up with around the same number. And that's assuming you don't get any extra stacks of tactical advantage. I think this is better. In my head, I can work out how it's going to add up. And I am struggling to explain why I believe it's better. I just think it is. Which isn't particularly useful, but there we go. I think that this is potentially very good for us, but it's not useful right now. The reason it's not useful right now is because we don't have Inspire, Linchpin, or Strong Point. So therefore, it's not going to do anything for us. It's just going to lower our health. Well, I suppose it does give us resolve stacks of tactical advantage, but I think that we probably should take one of these ones. How many more abilities do we get? No, I just want to see how many abilities we get. We get 1 more ability? Okay, in which case, if I want to take that, I should take one of these ones. Mark an enemy. If the enemy is killed by one of the Master Tactician's allies before the beginning of Master Tactician's next turn, that ally gains momentum and +5 to all characteristics. Strong Point is a temporary wounds one. Inspire is the one that increases damage. Okay. And then Linchpin is the one that Master Tactician gains 1 resolve every 5 stacks tactical advantage the Master Tactician has. Okay. Until the beginning of Master Tactician's next turn, the Master Tactician gains stacks of tactical advantage equal to 20 plus 3 times the Master Tactician's fell bonus % of all momentum the target gains. So 41% of all momentum the target gains. And then Inspire. I think Inspire makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that Inspire makes sense. I know we already have one, but I do think it makes sense. We already have someone who uses it, but I think she's using it in a different way. Right. Argenta, you're completely different. You know what? In that case, let's do Adira, because Adira is not completely different. Wait, back out. Level up. There we go. Right. Here, we looking for willpower or perception? Probably willpower for her, I would think. Yeah, that's kind of the path we want to take. And then here, we don't really want that. We kind of want psychic stuff, if you got any psychic stuff, right? Every Perils of the Warp increases momentum by the Psycher's willpower bonus plus resolve plus psi rating. After triggering a psychic phenomenon or Perils of the Warp for the first time each turn, psychic powers cost 1 less action point. For the first time in combat that an ally becomes the target of the Psycher's psychic power, this ally gains +10 to weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of combat. I like that one. We do have a buff, although it's more useful on our other Psycher. We do also do Perils of the Warp all the time on her. Each heroic act by the Psycher decreases Veil degradation. Whenever the Psycher uses his damaging psychic power on targets that are 6 cells or further from the Psycher, the targets suffer an additional 3 damage. What's that based off of? Ballistic skill. Ah, well, it's never going to be good. That's fine. The first psychic power used each turn increases Veil degradation by 2 points less. If this talent reduces the Veil degradation to less than 0, Veil degradation is instead decreased by 1. Wait a second. Okay, no, this is pretty good. The first psychic power used each turn increases Veil degradation by 2 points less. If this talent would reduce the Veil degradation to less than 0, Veil degradation is instead decreased by 1. So does that mean if I use a psychic power and yeah, if I use a psychic power and it would raise veil degradation by 1, then that would mean that it would be -1. It would decrease it by 1 to 0, so it would not raise veil degradation, therefore would not trigger a Perils of the Warp. Is that correct? Maybe. Potentially. That could be very good. If that's the case, no, I'm going to take it on the assumption that's how it works. That could mean that we can just start spamming psychic powers, which I think would be very cool. As in, we can spam 1 a turn. I think that changes things a lot for how we play her. And then here, we can choose many things that we're not going to choose, or we can have a look at our psychic powers. So what is Mind Bond? At any time until the end of combat, the target of Mind Bond makes a perception, intelligence, willpower, or fellowship test using either theirs or the Psycher's stats. I mean, that's okay, but I think that relies on us not having good stats for those ones on the target. I don't think that's super useful. The target makes a willpower resistance test. Or let me also just have a look at these. Does it say at the bottom how much veil degradation it gives you? No. Okay. The target makes a willpower resistance test. If it succeeds, the target is merely blinded until the start of the Psycher's next turn. If the target fails the test, they become blinded and suffer 5 times psi rating, which is 15 penalty to all characteristics, reduced by blindness, and must make a willpower resistance test at the end of each turn. The first success just makes them blinded, the second success removes blinded. I kind of like that. Everyone within a 7-cell cone in front of the Psycher suffers psychic shriek damage and is forced to make a willpower resistance test. All targets that fail the test are stunned until the Psycher's next turn. That could be cool. I like that one as well. Precognition. Once per round, the Psycher's next turn is moved up by 2 rounds in the initiative sequence. This ability may allow the Psycher to have 2 turns during 1 round. Okay, interesting. What else have we got here? The target gains a bunch of bonuses. Okay, until the end of combat. All allies that are currently affected by any of the Psycher's powers gain the perfect timing effect. Whenever the ally under this effect dodges or parries an attack, this ally has a weapon capable. If this ally has a weapon capable of reaching the attacker and it has an attack that costs 1 AP or less, the ally immediately counterattacks with this weapon and the perfect timing effect fades. Okay. That's kind of cool. And we already have foreboding, which we can put onto allies, right? All allies within a 10-cell radius will gain this. Yeah. Okay, no, but that's only until the end of the Psycher's next turn, so you would have to use 2 to get it to work. This one plus perfect timing could be interesting. I also like Psychic Assault. I guess if we're going to go more psychic stuff, let's maybe go Psychic Assault and see what we can do with this. Yeah. Let's see how this plays out. I think I'm going to try and make her more of an aggressive Psycher. Cool. And then we have Argenta. Right. Talents. When the Arch-militant attacks target have their armor reduced by any effects applied by the Arch-militant's allies, the Arch-militant deals 10% additional damage. When the Arch-militant attacks targets that have their deflection reduced, the Arch-militant deals 2 additional damage. Potentially good. The Arch-militant gains a 3% bonus to critical damage for every stack of versatility. This bonus is kept when the Arch-militant uses cautious approach or confident approach. 3% bonus to critical damage for every stack of versatility. That starts stacking very quickly. When the Arch-militant attacks targets that have their dodge reduced by any effects, they gain 10% crit. If they have their parry reduced, they gain 20% critical damage. Every round, the first single target ability used by an ally on the Arch-militant grants +1 action point to that ally. Okay. The Arch-militant gains 1 stack of versatility whenever an ally grants the Arch-militant an extra turn. Again, potentially really, really good. Whenever the Arch-militant or their ally uses a heroic act or desperate measure, the Arch-militant gains 2 damage for all attacks until the end of combat. Cost of wildfire is reduced by 1 AP for every 3 stacks of versatility instead of 4. Useful at the start of combat, not so useful as it goes on. Okay. There's some good stuff in here. I'm not sure how I want to play this right now. I think critical versatility is nice. I do like gaining extra versatility when we get an extra turn, but actually I think that gaining 2 damage whenever a heroic act is used is very good. We usually get one very early. I think that that would start stacking quite quickly. Accustomed to glory. So we're going to take, and then we're going to take ballistic skill. That makes sense to me, although maybe agility is better. Could be that agility is better. I'll take agility, actually. There we go. And then more cautious and confident approach. Okay. Once you use it, it's in effect until the end of combat. Instead of the usual bonuses from versatility, you gain dodge and parry for each stack. You have 4 more stacks. The Arch-militant removes slowed, blinded, bleeding, burning, and toxin effects from themselves to become immune to these effects, as well as stun and prone for as long as we keep the cautious effect in. If we go confident, you instead gain dodge reduction, power reduction, ignore 5% of enemy cover for every stack. Let me just have a look. What does versatility do? I know it's good. You gain 5 weapon skill and ballistic skill for every stack. Now, I think I'm okay not going for either of these. Also, wait, what else does it do? All the Arch-militant's attacks score critical hits, but the Arch-militant's critical damage is reduced. If we have 4 more stacks, the Arch-militant's attacks always deal maximum damage, as long as the Arch-militant keeps the confident approach active. I do like the always dealing maximum damage, but I think we don't need to worry about that. The Arch-militant's next attack, if it hits, will cause all targets to make a toughness resistance test with a 2 times the Arch-militant's ballistic bonus or willpower bonus, whichever is higher, penalty. If failed, the target will suffer a negative effect based on the attack type. So it'll be piercing, inflicts bleeding and slowed on the target until the end of combat. Okay, and if you can combine several different types, then you get each effect. We immediately gain 3 plus agi bonus MP, so that'd be 9. Oh, sorry, it'd actually be 10 right now. If we have stacks of versatility, those stacks are doubled until the end of the turn. But you lose all stacks that were added at the end of the turn. And then kick. You can make a melee attack with a kick. It does not count towards the attack limit. It counts as a single melee attack for the purposes of versatility. Attack cannot be parried and will push the target 2 cells away. So not a huge amount of damage on it, but useful if you want to just get like some space. Interesting. I think I might take devastating attack. I think that's going to end up being very, very good. Because it's based off of your ballistic skill bonus, which will go up a lot with versatility. And then we get one more thing. I'm trying to remember what some of these good ones are. It will not die is always going to be something that seems useful. Because it will give us 10 extra health. 2 extra movement points is also interesting. Heavy weapons ignore damage. We don't have heavy weapons though. Could take like a characteristic training agility if we wanted to. Grenadier. First grenade in combat does not spend AP. I don't think we need that. When we're affected by an ally's non-damaging ability or affects an ally of such an ability, the resolve is increased by fell bonus divided by 2 for 1 round. Fell bonus is not very high. While under 40% wounds, we don't really want that. While no other character in the same party is the same archetype, I don't even know if that applies, but I assume it might for Arch-militant, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't trust that that one will work. 3% to ignore any enemy attack. Is that based off resolve? It's based off of willpower. Okay. I mean, it's not going to be 3 because we would get it buffed by voice of command. But, yeah, potentially good. I mean, if it's 5%, that's basically saying you have a 1 in 20 chance of never taking damage. That's nice, I guess. I don't know what to take here. We're kind of open for things to take. Swift movements, I guess, is always nice. Yeah, I guess just gaining extra movement points does give you a lot of advantages. Even at the start of combat, it lets you choose where to place yourself a little bit better because it's based on your movement, right? So, yeah, let's take swift movement. Cool. Are we now all leveled up? We are. Okay, that took longer than I expected it would take. That took the entire episode to level up. You know what? Let's actually advance some story, but not like the story we were going to advance. Let's go find Erlette and speak to her and see what she has to say. She might not have anything to say, or she might say stuff that's out of sequence, but let's see. What are we doing here, Ellentak? We have strayed from our path. It's time to head back to Janus. Never mind. I guess what we're gonna do is we're going to end the episode there. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies, it was an entirely level up episode, but I mean, it needed to be done, and we're now a lot stronger. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.